Especially the initial, when you leave a recovery facility, it becomes so hard. You still have these old friends who are all over you, and they will go to a very long length of trying to take you back into your old ways. And when you are in a facility like a rehabilitation center, you may not have made good friends that will stand with you when you are outside there. So it is a very big challenge when you are outside there. When you come from a rehabilitation center, you go outside there, you have the old friends. Again, you have access to people, to places, and to things that you used to use it with. The people are like the friends, the places, the bars are still there, and they are still even opening more. Then maybe you still have the bottles in the house and all that. So it becomes such a trigger for you to go back into addiction. The other thing is when you come out of a recovery facility, there are a lot of expectation from you. One of the expectations is that you become sort of an angel, where those old habits that you used to have been erased from the process you went through. While the people who are expecting this much from you do not understand that recovery is a long process with very many bumps along the road. So you may end up like some circumstances where you come back, you don't have a job, then somebody tells you, I don't want to see you in this house. Maybe in a polite way, but your interpretation is that I don't want to see you in this house when I'm going to work. You are still sleeping here. Getting jobs is not easy, especially when you come from a rehabilitation facility. So when somebody starts telling you such things, you go sort of into a mild depression. You start asking yourself, I've worked all this hard, I've done all this much, and then nobody even appreciates me. They just talk to me like I am capable of getting my job back immediately. So this one takes you back to your old people who will prop you up and tell you, no, Omollo, you can still make it in life. So you may end up going back to your old patterns of use simply because of the situation, the issues in your family or right inside your house. Yeah, so I didn't have much. Apart from the withdrawal symptoms were tremors and maybe hallucinations. You know, one thing with alcohol, when the brain has been used to the drug of choice like alcohol, and the absence of it senses the absence of it. I went through some serious hallucinations which, when you sleep, your colleagues will tell you that hey, today you are really fighting with many people, today you are running away from maybe a snake, from some animals, and such. And those tremors, you can't hold a cup. You want to hold a cup here, but it is a struggle even to hold that cup. Those were mostly the physiological withdrawal that I had. Addictions has signs and symptoms. But in this field of alcohol, in the field of alcohol testing, we have instruments that we use to do the test so that we can tell whether somebody has addiction issues with alcohol issues. One of them we call CAGE. CAGE is an acronym. So C stands for cutting down. As this person tried to cut down on his alcohol taking and was not able, you will tell with the answer he's giving you. Another one is angry. When you ask somebody about his alcohol, the trend of his alcoholism, he becomes angry. Then the G stands for guilt. Have you felt guilty that you have done something that you would not have done if you had not taken the alcohol? So the guilt part of it. Then the E stands for eye opener. Eye opener is basically the way you see people in the morning, they wake up, the first thing they go to do, wanaenda kufungua lock. So with men, we say that if you can score 2 of those questions, of the 4 questions and you score 2, we group you to be an alcoholic. Then for a woman who scores 1, we also group the person or the female to be an alcoholic. There is also another criteria where you can't function if you have not taken your drug of choice, especially the alcohol in this case. You are supposed to go to work. You can't go to work because the best part of your time, your major activities of going to work, you can't go to work because you are taking your alcohol. Sometimes you find that these people, a person like me, there is a time that I could not have that good interpersonal relationship with the family, not only the immediate family, that is the nuclear family, but also the extended family. Sometimes you do things that you should not do while you are drunk, like driving while you are intoxicated, or when this person operates a machinery that does not need to be operated when you are under the influence. Sometimes you look at other areas where the person used to take maybe 2 bottles of beer. Then it becomes an issue. After taking 2 bottles of beer, he was okay with that. The body was okay with that. But you realize that later, even after taking the 2 bottles of beer, you feel nothing, you add. So you become tolerant. Sometimes you go to the pub to spend only 2 hours, but you end up spending a whole night in the pub. You spend more time than the time that you had planned to spend when you are drinking place. So sometimes the withdrawals. There are some withdrawals you see, like the hallucinations and all that, which can tell you that this person is Yes, the diagnosis is actually what I've been talking about. It is the same. We use the word the cage. The symptoms and diagnosis go hand in hand. Yes, so there is a tool we call Assist. Assist is basically an instrument that you can use to know the level of alcohol somebody has been using. It has a section where it tells you that, it asks the substances somebody has used in lifetime, which it captures all the substances. Then it goes specifically to a substance that you're looking for. So if you score 27 and above in the assist, you are a good candidate to be rehabilitated in a facility like a rehabilitation center, where you will get intensive treatment. But if you score below than that, you can do what we call a brief therapy, and you are good to go. I don't miss drinking. I miss nothing about drinking. In fact, that is an area that at times I go back to where I used to drink, and I look at my friends who are still in the drinking habit, and it makes me feel sad because there is no day you will say that I built this house, all these my children have gone to school, I have this car, I have this beautiful relationship because of my addiction to alcohol. So I miss what I miss in being an alcoholic is zero, totally zero. Waking up in the morning and I'm sober, sitting with my people and they are all happy. The little cash I have in my pocket is well taken care of and used in a good way. And just being productive within the family and the society as large makes me happier than the days I used to take alcohol. I did many things, but the worst of them all was it was a Christmas day, and I'd taken my mother to church, then left her there, came back to our shopping center, took alcohol, then went home. So after the mass had ended, she was left there because I was to go and pick her. So when I was called and told, do you know your mom is still in church? I remembered that I was to go and pick her. So I took my car, and this is the village. So I drove very fast. I could not control the car, and I got a very bad accident. I rolled the car many times with the few people I was carrying, and it was scary. Within your village, where everybody else knows you, and such kind of things happens to you, it was not the best. And it haunted me for quite some time. These people did not forgive me because most of them, I realized later that they thought that I was I intentionally wanted to kill them. Because it was quite a sort of distance where I took them to where I got an accident. So it was very traumatic for me. I'll start with the family. I'm sincere, I hurt them a lot. You can tell your children are not happy, your wife is not happy, your siblings are not happy, and the second one is the employer. I was a performer, very good performer. Then I can give an example. I was working for a UN organization, actually it's called United Nations Millennium Campaign. We were doing what we call, we called it why mothers should not die while giving life, MDG 5. Then we had done everything that was required. So we were petitioning the presidents of 5 countries through a caravan. So we were to start from Kibra to all the way to these 5 countries, Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, Tanzania, and Burundi. Then we had worked tirelessly for months. I had moved to all these countries trying to do the preparations, and the day of launching, a day before that, put everything in place. Then the president of UN by then was to launch it officially in the presence of the former prime minister. Then that day I drank myself, I don't know, out of excitement or out of what. They are there in Kibra. By the time I went home in Lower Kabete, I switched off my phone, slept, and by 10 a.m. in the morning is when I'm realizing I was supposed to be a crucial player in the launch. So many things were not happening because I was not there. And also I had put off my phone, I could not be reached. So when I woke up, took a taxi, went to Kibra, everything had started. And my immediate supervisor told me, no, you know what, come this side. I was still tipsy. Talked to me and told me you can go back home or go back where you have come from. Come to the office on Monday. We need to talk. So when I went to the office on Monday, it was simple. You are not going with us. You are not part of our team anymore. The next thing you need to do, come this such a date, come for your check. That was in a polite manner. You have been sacked. But I didn't feel bad about it, about the sacking, because I was guilty. I knew that I'd really disappointed my employer, disappointed myself, and it haunted me for quite a long time, what I did. Some relationships, some job opportunities. Sometimes now I look back and I see the people that we worked with. I can point for you quite a number who have done very well. Some are governors, some are CSS. And I ask myself, what went wrong with me? So in terms of even education, while others were going further, were furthering their studies, doing their masters, doing whatever courses that are relevant to their upward mobility, I was very busy spending my time doing alcohol. So it means that my progression in terms of work, in terms of life, really deteriorated. But I'm happy that with recovery I'm picking up, and by God's grace I can say that my life is together again. Alcohol should not be banned. Alcohol is one of the oldest drugs in the world, and it is not practical that you can ban it. It will never be banned, so I don't want to dwell in impossibilities. It is impossible to ban alcohol. The only thing that should be done is regulation. Regulation like the Mututo law. I thought that it would be something worth talking about because it has done this kind of maybe you are not taking alcohol at these times and all that. But look at it. Is it really working? It is not. In terms of implementation, bars are operating. Go to downtown Nairobi. People are drinking the way they want, simply because of enforcement. So what I'll talk about mostly is in terms of the quality. The authorities are charged with looking at the quality should make sure that this alcohol, which are called third generations, are not in our markets. And a lot of education should go into awareness is good, but it is not very effective. We should get involved so much into evidence-based kind of interventions where school children have clubs which they can talk about alcohol and the rest. But we can also build their life skills to say no at a very early age. But I don't believe you can ban alcohol. Yes, I can say you can take me as an example. I won't say that I've been perfect from the day I came out of recovery. I've lapsed once or twice. Lapse is basically when nikaa kuteleza, or you have slept. I've slept several times. But one thing I can say for sure, and for the truth is, addiction is a disease that is treatable. People who have been in addiction can get treatment either by passing through a rehabilitation facility, like what I did, like maybe through the family, through medication, whatever route that you choose to go about it. Addiction can be treated. The only thing is, it cannot be cured, but it can be managed. So those who are outside there is no need to condemn your person who is an addict. There is a lot to gain by taking such a person for treatment. And the stigmatization of rehabilitation facilities. Rehabilitation facilities have been so much stigmatized because many people don't understand exactly what they provide. And maybe initially they had some rehabilitation facilities had issues with the way they do their treatment. That one should not stop you from taking your person to a rehabilitation facility, because most of these rehabilitation facilities have been accredited by NACADA, meaning that they have necessary facilities, they have necessary qualified personnel who can handle your loved ones. And it has been proved that at least 50% of those who come from the rehabilitation facility, some of them do stand. And even if they relapse, we say that relapse is part of a recovery process. And with time, people stop and become good members of society who are able to contribute meaningfully to the society. Don't leave your person to go into what you call you go into rock bottom, where you say now the alcohol or whatever drug of choice he has been using has beaten him enough, so now we can take him for help. What you should know, these people are already at rock bottom. What they need is your help. They need hope. So we need to raise hope for these substance users rather than condemning them and letting them die of addiction, a disease that is treatable and manageable. So kindly help your people before they hit the so-called rock bottom, because they are already at the bottom as they are. Thank you.